I know none of you will be surprised by this, but I prefer mornings when I get to report nothing but good news. And the only bad news I can find is that shorts of every stripe and kind are scrambling this morning as we have another perfect day emerging. The CPI came in lower than expected with zero change month over month. That's lovely. Small business people are not happy. The Fed will be happy with that, but they've been unhappy for 14 months. So, this is nothing new. Markets are up big and Tesla's back in the 30s. And the big question, which I'll answer at the end, is what should the Fed do now? This is Randy Kirk. If you missed the conversations with Larry last night, highly recommend you go check that out. The Brian conversation yesterday was great too. I will leave cards later. 12 reasons the stock market went up yesterday is what Larry and I talked about. And I think that you'll find that those 12 issues are still very cogent, and you might want to go check that out. Anyway, hit like, subscribe, and then hit notify, because Brian White will be back in a little while, about 3 or 4 hours. We'll have Brian back on again, and he and I will be talking about the Model 3, the Gen 3 rather. We'll be talking about the 3Y refresh for the United States. We'll be talking about the Juniper. We'll be talking all these things in terms of what they really mean for next year. There's also something else I forgot about from last night. You might want to go watch last night just to hear Larry Goldberg's optimistic take on the numbers for 2024. Anyway, okay. And this is a day for celebrating. So celebrate and buy one of these. Thank you very much for the orders that are already coming in this morning. It must be getting close to Christmas. People are finally going, okay, I do need to buy some Christmas presents. Let's see. We have, first of all, let's start with completely different. I was going to say out of the blue, but that would be too pundy. StarShip approval seems very likely, imminently, allowing for the planned liftoff for this Friday, which will make Larry Goldberg very unhappy because he's not going to be able to fly there soon enough to see it. But it's going to make Elon and a lot of other people happy. Of course, weather, depending on, and I haven't seen anything that says that they finally actually have that permit in hand yet, but they're being told they will have it in time for liftoff on Friday. So that's good news number one. Good news number two. Well, not necessarily for the Chinese people who want to buy a Tesla car, but the prices went up again yesterday on some of the models in China. So that would be something that's buoying up the Tesla stock right now. Then China insurance registrations came in a little bit lighter than expected, but still excellent at 13,000. People are speculating this morning they're probably got some more Model 3s on their way to Europe or to other locations, more exports being filled right now, because that is we're getting close to being at the very end of when they can put those on ships and still make the fourth quarter. And we know that they have flattened out these shipments like this in order, they're not trying as hard to get great amounts for each quarter, but it is the end of the year. So you might expect at least a little bit of trim going on right now. All right, so let's talk about the small business, the NFIB optimism report. Small business owners continue to be in really bad mood with finding, one of the number one things that they're still dealing with, finding qualified employees is the top of their concerns. 60% of small business owners out there are looking for additional help and they can't find it. They can't find qualified people. Next on their list is inflation. They're not optimistic about the future, and they're less optimistic about the future than they were last month. Now, I'm not happy about that, but I don't know. I have a feeling that most of these people are, from what I can tell, they're increasing wages, they're increasing their own compensation. It doesn't sound as horrible as they're making it out to be, except it is a royal pain when you can't find good people and you know that you're letting customers down or you're not able to ship as much as you might if you had those folks on board. So I can understand where that would continue to make you grouchy. So anyway, but the Fed may or may not be as clever as I am at figuring these things out. So they'll just be happy that the optimism report is negative, and that should continue to encourage them to do the right thing. Anyway, the CPI, headline and core CPI both beat, and that's why the markets are screaming higher this morning. U.S. inflation cooled significantly in October, largely because the cost of gasoline fell, helping to slow the pace of price growth. The consumer price, I think, I forgot who, I'm sorry, not sure who this is from, but they were all the same. The consumer price index climbed 3.2% year over year in October, compared to 3.7 rate last month and the previous month. So that's a significant drop. 0.5% drop to 3.2 year over year for, compared to the last 2 months at 3.7. Economists surveyed by FactSet expected 3.3, so it beat the economist prediction as well. And then stock prices leapt higher. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. On a month-over-month basis, the headline index remained steady. I don't know why they used remain steady. My version of this would be there was a zero increase in prices month over month. This is the headline on the headline index. Economists forecasted the pace of inflation would be around 0.1%, and it was 0.4% last month. So this is a significant drop on the month over month. Core prices, which exclude the more volatile food and energy indexes, are generally considered a better gauge, rose 0.2% month over month, and hit 4% on a year over year basis, which was down from the expected 4.1. October's core price growth was the smallest 12-month change since September of 2021. That's a long time ago. Both core measures beat economists' expectations, as we've already stated. The disinflation in the core measure will come as a welcome news to the Fed. The so-called super core rate. Now, this is we keep getting all these new things. We now have a super core rate, or core services inflation, excluding housing, came in at 0.2% for October, which is 2.4 on an annual basis, down from 0.6 in September. Huge drop. The measure which the Fed has zeroed in on in recent months, as concern about services inflation has deepened, slowed to 3.7 year over year from 3.9 in September. Can't get much better than that. Core CPI is affected today by some changes, and in addition to everything else, expectations were the core CPI would be hurt by the way that they've made some changes in the way that they score health insurance and some services. These would have increased the core inflation numbers even more. Therefore, this is an even better report. So again, can't get much better than that. Electric is reporting this morning that plans to build one of Europe's largest electric vehicle battery cells have fallen, cell factories has fallen through. Ford's partnership with LG Energy Solutions and Koch Holding is scrapping plans to produce EV battery cells in the region, citing the current pace of EV adoption. Ford, General Motors, Volkswagen, Toyota, you guys better get on board. Okay, it is very unlikely, but this tiny YouTube channel, it's highly unlikely that the Fed will be paying any attention to what I'm going to say, but I'm still gonna spout it. Okay, so here's my rant. The Fed needs to lower interest rates as soon as January. I don't think there's a chance it'll happen in December. I don't think there's a chance it's going to happen in January, February, March, maybe April, May is what some Fed watchers are saying. I think they should do it in January. They just need to send a signal at this point that they're done with interest rates rising and that they recognize that they might have overstepped again. So interest rates right now listen to me, listen carefully to this. As far as I can tell, and I want you to comment below if you disagree with me, or even if you agree with me, but it's okay, either way. Interest rates right now, high interest rates, they're not that high. They're not that high. So they're not impacting the things that the Fed is looking for them to impact, okay? What they're impacting are things that are hurting everyone and not helping. They're increasing the amount of government spending because interest rates are dramatically increasing how much the government is spending on interest. And so that's hurting the entire population. It's hurting commercial real estate, and it's hurting the regional banks. It's hurting any chance of more affordable homes being built, and it's keeping folks in their current homes. And so that's keeping inventories really crazy low, which is increasing the price of homes. I can't find a single beneficiary of higher rates for longer, and I don't see anybody cutting their spending. The only spending I can imagine that might be being cut back would be businesses that are cutting back on automation or other things that might increase productivity, which would help inflation. So I'm sorry, that's my rant. I can't figure it out. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Let's look at where the prices are now. Let's start with the stock market, where we have Tesla up almost $10, the Dow up 422, the NASDAQ up 279, and the S&P up 70.97. All of the the other Magnificent Seven are up. All the Cathie Woods are up very strongly. This might be a place. I'm not giving investment advice. The Cathie Wood stock should start to benefit dramatically. Some of them are up on a higher percentage basis than Tesla is this morning. But let's look at these percentages. The Dow is up 1.24%, NASDAQ up 2%, S&P up 1.61%, Tesla up 4.38%. Okay, over double the NASDAQ. Apple up 1%, Google up 2%, Amazon up 2%, Meta up 2%, Microsoft up 1%, NVIDIA up 2%, Tesla up 4.51%, or $10.09 a share. Now, that's a combination, obviously, of Tesla's good news, 12 pieces of good news that I talked about last night. There is just nothing negative right now at Tesla that I can find. Well, I can certainly rant about Tesla too. I'd like to see some dirt being turned over. That would make my day. Okay, let's see. Let's go now and look at the other numbers. We're looking now at the Bitcoin at 36.6. So down this morning. We've got the dollar continuing very strong this morning. We've got gold up $23 this morning. That's 1.2%. So, it seems like more, but it's up strongly this morning. We have oil up $1 at 79.34. We don't want to see that. There's some kind of an argument going on with regard to whether there's enough oil or not enough oil, or whether, whether the OPEC is saying everything's fine. Production numbers are balanced now with what the needs are. So that's why oil has been popping the last couple of days. I'd love to see it stay in the 70s, but I don't know. It could be going back in the 80s. Now, where we have bonds, their bonds are down the 10-year down 17 basis points to 4.461. As you know, I believe it'll go down to 4.25 and have a lot of trouble getting through that number. We have got the 2-month down less than a basis point. So the inversion there is spreading. We have got the 2-year down 19 basis points. So that's actually closing the inversion just a little bit. Again, the 10-year down 17 basis points, going back to Tesla one last time. Tesla down up $9.67 at this exact moment. We will look one more time after I get done with the rest of this stuff. Okay, I mentioned about Larry last night, a hugely important show. If you didn't see it yet, here's the card. And then also the Brian card will be right after that. Or maybe they'll be backwards. Sometimes I get them backwards. It's very weird how they do it, and I can't figure it out. Anyway, so both cards, because the Brian show yesterday was obviously, he's always great, and it was a fun show, and we talked about important stuff. So we got Brian coming back up at about 11:30, something like that. And then tonight, just the regular programming, but the regular programming could be a really good show tonight, because this is going to be an amazing day to pay attention to all these effects. And we got PPI tomorrow, along with a whole bunch of other reporting that's going to be impactful. So tomorrow morning show should be like today's, with lots of good news, right? We can hope so. All right. Where do I think the market is going this morning? I think that it is going to continue to hang in at highs. I think there's going to be profit taking on Tesla later today, but I think maybe it ends at its a high for the day. But I think there will be people coming in and trying to take advantage of 20 points in 2 days. Yeah, there's going to be some profit taking. Okay, if you haven't bought your Cybertruck yet, it is time to go out and buy your Cybertruck bottle opener and amazing refrigerator magnet. Huge magnet on the back, so it holds a lot of stuff on your refrigerator. If you like to put some paper behind it, it looks great on your refrigerator. In fact, if you have a stainless refrigerator about this color, it just disappears. So you need the camouflage for that, right? Okay, and everybody will get a kick out of this being on your fridge. Believe me, they'll notice this one. The rest of them are just bled. They're just, nobody notices them anymore. But this one, no, this will stand out on your refrigerator. And hopefully everybody in the house agrees that this is a good item to put on your fridge. Now, if it's not great for the inside fridge, then you put it on the cabin fridge or the one in the garage. It can also makes it a decorative thing for your bookshelf or for a shadow box or things like that. $25, that's all they are. $29.95 on Amazon. Just sold another one yesterday on Amazon. So they're selling fine at $29.95. Somebody else told me that my Cybertruck is being flipped for $35 on someplace else. Not sure where exactly. $35. So $25, and you know what? You can get it as low as $20 a piece if you buy 20. And in between, there's all kinds of other price points. Like for instance, 2 is for $45 and 3 is for $65. Somebody took advantage of getting 3 of those. I got the email this morning, bought 3 at $65. Buying those Christmas gifts. Okay, get on board. And then Patreon, you join Patreon at the $5 level, you get 1 free book. Okay, your choice on audio. So it's worth about $15. 20 could be as much as $20 for that. And then if you join at the $10 level, you get 2. So now you're talking about $35 to $40 value when you join at the $10 level, or optionally, you can get one of those for free. Please let me know whether you want the stainless steel or the camo. This is an IQ test. If you pass the IQ test is when you tell me, along with your order, whether you want the camouflage or whether you want the stainless. All right, let's see. One last look. If you're not in the United States, please add $20 for freight. All right, we're back over $10 again. We're pretty much at the highs of the day right now on, no, it's been a little tiny bit higher. There was one little spike that looks like it was around 11 something, but right now, very close to the highs of the day for Tesla. It is a good news Tuesday, and the news, I think, is just going to keep getting better because, I'm an optimist. This is Randy Kirk, and it's been great talking to you.